First Lady Michelle Obama is in San Francisco this morning for a Democratic Party fundraiser. Her trip reflects the new status of the president's spouse. Jen Crawford is in Washington with how Mrs. Obama's predecessor predicts even bigger changes to come. Good morning.
Well, good morning. You know, in the old days, the First Lady used to be more of a hostess-in-chief, kind of greeting dignitaries, entertaining at the White House. But that role really changed over the years, and they started taking on causes and doing advocacy. And now Laura Bush is raising questions about whether the role will soon change again.
My wife, the First Lady, Michelle Obama.
They have no official title and define the role of First Lady as they choose. Now, Laura Bush is suggesting someday a future First Lady may decide to take on an additional role, breadwinner.
The interesting question really is not should they receive a salary, but should they be able to work for a salary at their job that they might have already had. And I think that's what we'll have to come to terms with.
Bush, a former teacher and school librarian, envisions a day when a First Lady or a First Gentleman would take a job outside the home being, of course, the White House. So far, it hasn't happened. Some of the reasons are practical, like security concerns and official obligations. It also would mean another level of scrutiny for a position that already is among the most scrutinized, where an off-the-cuff comment can spark controversy, as Hillary Clinton learned before she became First Lady when she defended her legal career in Arkansas.
I suppose I could have stayed home and baked cookies and had teas, but what I decided to do was to fulfill my profession, which
Clinton came under fire for being a feminist, but 20 years later, it was feminists who were upset when Michelle Obama said this.
You see, at the end of the day, my most important title is still Mom-in-Chief.
Anita McBride served as Chief of Staff to Laura Bush.
There will be more opinions about their job than there is about their hair and wardrobe, which is what we're sort of used to now.
McBride says it would be difficult but possible. She points to Jill Biden, who teaches English full-time as her husband serves as vice president.
Being a teacher is not what I do, it's who I am.
I think Americans will have to understand that if there is a working presidential spouse, there might be less that they're doing for us. And are we willing to accept that? I think that's a question.
Now, McBride also says a First Lady working outside the White House could raise ethical concerns, possible problems with conflicts of interest, and that any job, and this probably isn't surprising, would have to be thoroughly vetted by White House lawyers. Charlie, Nora, Gail?
Very interesting.
I think they said it well in the piece. Difficult, but possible.
Yeah.
We shall see.
You know, Laura Bush is always very circumspect, and she really said a lot of interesting stuff in this interview that Jan reported about. She also said, you know, maybe that if it's a man, they'll talk about their tie or their hairstyle and their weight like they do women.
That would not be bad.
Yeah. A little double standard.